If you've ever looked at a world map and felt that Africa seems smaller, less central, or even less important than it truly is, you're not alone. For decades, the way Africa is depicted on maps has shaped how people see the continent, often as a place on the margins rather than at the heart of global affairs. But what if that perception is about to change in a big way? Across Africa, there's a growing sense of momentum, a feeling that the continent's time has come. From the vibrant streets of Lagos and Nairobi to the rapidly expanding skylines of Addis Ababa and Johannesburg, Africa's cities are buzzing with energy, innovation, and ambition. The world is starting to notice Africa's rising power, but the biggest changes might be coming from within. African leaders are no longer content to simply accept the status quo. They're not just talking about tweaking borders or making minor adjustments to the map. Instead, they're daring to imagine a future where Africa's place in the world is redefined, where the continent is seen as a united force, a powerhouse of culture, economy, and influence. At international forums and high-level meetings, African officials are making their voices heard. They're calling for a new narrative, one that reflects Africa's diversity, its strengths, and its aspirations. This isn't just about how the world sees Africa, it's about how Africans see themselves and how they want to shape their own destiny. The conversation goes far beyond lines on a piece of paper. It's about identity, pride, and the power to define one's own future. For many Africans, the current borders, drawn during colonial times, don't reflect the realities of language, culture, or community. There's a growing movement to rethink these boundaries, to create a map that truly represents the people who call Africa home. Imagine a continent where economies are stronger because they work together, where political unity leads to greater stability, and where Africa's story is told by Africans themselves. That's the vision driving these bold new ideas. It's about unlocking Africa's full potential, economically, politically, and culturally. The African Union, headquartered in Addis Ababa, has become a symbol of this new vision. Leaders from across the continent gather here to discuss not just the challenges they face, but the opportunities that lie ahead. They're exploring ways to break down barriers, foster cooperation, and build a future where Africa stands tall on the world stage. Some of the most ambitious plans involve combining smaller countries into larger regional blocs, creating economic and political powerhouses that can compete with the world's biggest players. Think of it as Africa's answer to the European Union, a way to pool resources, harmonize policies, and amplify the continent's voice in global affairs. Other proposals focus on redrawing borders to better reflect the realities of language, culture, and history, rather than the arbitrary lines left by colonial powers. The ultimate goal? A more connected, more cohesive Africa, one that can harness its vast resources, its youthful population, and its rich cultural heritage to become a true global leader. Imagine an Africa where borders don't divide but unite, where trade, travel, and ideas flow freely from Cairo to Cape Town, Dakar to Dar es Salaam. Such a transformation would have ripple effects far beyond Africa's shores. New trade routes could open up, connecting African markets with Asia, Europe, and the Americas in ways never seen before. International investors are already taking notice, eager to tap into Africa's growing consumer base and dynamic economies. But what would these changes mean for the rest of the world? The answer is, a lot. Imagine a world where Africa is not just a supplier of raw materials, but a hub of innovation, technology, and industry. New alliances could reshape global politics, as African nations work together to negotiate better deals, protect their interests, and set the agenda on issues like climate change, security, and development. Africa's economic rise could shake up the world economy, creating new opportunities and new challenges for businesses, governments, and ordinary people everywhere. As African cities grow and modernize, they're becoming centers of finance, technology, and culture, attracting talent and investment from around the globe. And as Africa's political influence grows, so too does its ability to shape the global conversation. African leaders are demanding a bigger seat at the table, at the United Nations, the World Bank, and other international institutions. They're pushing for reforms that reflect the continent's growing importance and ensure that Africa's voice is heard loud and clear. Of course, such sweeping changes won't come without challenges. Redrawing borders, merging countries, or even just changing the way Africa is represented on maps can stir up old tensions, spark new debates, and create political drama. History has shown that changing borders can sometimes lead to conflict, as communities grapple with questions of identity, belonging, and power. But for many Africans, especially the younger generation, these challenges are worth facing. They see a future where Africa is no longer defined by its past, but by its potential. In classrooms, boardrooms, and government offices, a new generation is reimagining what Africa can be and what it can offer the world. So, could Africa really redraw the world map? Could it become the next great economic and political powerhouse? The answer depends on the choices Africans make and the support they receive from the rest of the world. One thing is certain, the conversation has begun, and the world is watching. What do you think? Is the world ready for a new map, one that puts Africa at the center? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more big ideas and bold visions for the future.